Hi everyone, Game Master Chris here for Ventures in Varlindel. You have clicked on Oswald's Session 0. I just wanted to throw the same reminder slash warning that I gave in VO Session 0. The audio for this will be slightly messed up. I, in my infinite wisdom, did not set OBS up correctly when I was originally recording these first 3 sessions, so my voice will be a little bit quiet, my friends in Discord will be louder than intended, and the music in Foundry will be, we'll call it obnoxiously loud. I will edit it as best I can, but just your forewarning, this should not be a persistent issue once we move into the second set of Session Zeros in next week. But yeah, enjoy Oswald Session 0. See you later. Let's go to Oswald. To stop Adventures in Adventureland. And very different setting to the previous one. You are in a plane of suffering. The sky is
just like real life.
The sky is red and burnt orange. There is a strong smell of sulfur and iron and heat that just drifts lazily through the air. The ground is dry and dusty. Trees have long since died and are just charred husks of what they used to be. Standing before you, and all of you, is a large, looming, illusory hooded figure, several meters tall, in the midst of a forest clearing. Addressing the crowd in this deep, gravelly voice. My sons, my daughters, the people of this land have taken something most precious from us. It is your sole duty to return it. Cheers come out from the crowd. Thousands of people surround you. Of every race and species you can imagine. People with painted faces, ripped armor, and scars and missing limbs, and this is a brutal group. Oswald, you stand amongst a group of 11 other individuals. Off to the side, you have been given this speech already by your captain, Oswald. The illusion is to speak to some 4,000 individuals and inform them of what will be happening. I would like you to make a perception check. Go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
Should I roll a d20 or should I think I can do it from my character sheet.
Did we do your character sheet?
I have a character sheet
Yes.
on here. I don't know if I'm correct.
1, 2. We have to give you an extra thing, but yes, you can go ahead and roll your perception check from there. Go right ahead.
+0.
You just roll the d20 in.
Oh, okay. I actually have to do it. Yes. That worked. Yes!
4. Oswald, you're a little distracted. It's hard to get a bead on how this massive crowd of individuals are feeling. But
I'm too focused, bro.
it's antsy. There's some electricity. That's not the right music. You're supposed to...
Is that Halo music? Wait a minute.
No, it's not. Halo is copyrighted. This is all copyright-free music. You look out on the crowd, and you're just a little bit distracted. Everyone seems a little bit antsy, but they all seem to be responding to this large illusory figure. He goes on to speak a little bit about an attack that will be happening tomorrow, and that the precious item that he continues to refer to, or they continue to refer to, is somewhere inside the keep. And he ends the speech by going, "Your duty
everyone is to clear a way so that the unit of Blood Knights can breach the fortress and retrieve what has been taken. I need all of you to understand that that is your only duty, and that I expect you to give your lives for it, because it is of that much importance. Do me proud, sons and daughters, for tomorrow we are victorious. The illusion fades, and there's some cheers that go around, and then the massive army kind of disperses. You look over to your captain, Oswald just kind of nods, points everyone over to the direction. The 12 Blood Knights, who exist as an elite unit, they are heavily armored. They are faster than the normal soldiers. They are stronger than the normal soldiers. The atmosphere of Avernus seems to bolster your abilities and your speed and everything that you can do. You've trained for years doing this, battling individuals, cutting them down, being as vicious and brutal as possible in the middle of combat. You and your 11 other brothers and sisters stand along the hillside just outside of the tree line. You begin to set up your tents in a perfect line. Tent stakes are driven at the exact same time, all in a line. Tents go up. And you look out over this hill, and there's a large dip. It goes down maybe 100 feet into a valley below. And you see what will become a battlefield. You can imagine the pools of blood, the smell of iron and adrenaline, that excitement that comes with these kind of things. You get to do what you were meant to do tomorrow, and you're ready. Your fellow Blood Knights begin sharpening their weapons, eating dinner, enjoying rations. Is there anything you would like to do before the night ends?
I too will sharpen my blade and check the seals on my armor to make sure everything fits properly. Polish my shield.
So you sit down on the charred remains of what used to be a tree some millennia ago. Your sword gleams, you see your reflection in it. As you jab it into the ground and lean your shield up against it, there's a reflection of you as you put your helmet, take your helmet off, get ready for bed. Climb into your tent, and the night is quiet. It's not cool, but you have grown used to the heat of the furnace. And the sun rises the next morning. Very slowly, but you are trained. You and the other Blood Knights get up at the exact same time every day, as you have for too many days. You cannot count anymore. And you get out, and you put on your chest plate and your plate legs, and you fold up your tents, and you take your stakes out of the ground, you have breakfast, chug a little bit of wine that's passed around. Oswald almost always carries a bottle when he's out and about on missions. And go ahead and describe your armor for me. What does it look like?
Like a red, like a dark burgundy, like undersuit, right? Like for, to cover the body. And then plates of black metal with silver lining. And then the helmets are full face coverings with two horns on the side and a red top knot adorning the top of it.
And all of you wear the same armor. There is no discrepancy between male or female between you. You all stand roughly the same height except for Oswald, who stands marginally taller. All of you are accomplished in combat. Oswald walks out and stands before you. We wait till they reach the gate. then we cut through. Somewhere within the castle is our objective. Take the entryway of the castle, secure the foyer, sweep the rooms, regroup further down the hallway. We're told we might be in the study, the back of the first floor, or in the bedrooms in the basement. Those are our objectives. Strike fast, attack with no mercy. This mercy will not be shown to you. Know that your fallen brothers and sisters will join you in the next realm. Do not stop for them. And as he finishes, there's a rumble. As footsteps, thousands of them, start to beat on your 6. That electricity that you felt last night in the illusion starts to become palpable again. Everyone knows what's about to happen. And then you hear the first cry. As those pounding footsteps rush past you, hundreds and hundreds of soldiers are sprinting down this hill, clad in armor, moving faster than anyone clad in that much armor should. Hundreds turns into 1,000, 1,000 into 2, and 2 into 4, as this battlefield is filled with your invading forces. You see dots poking up from your vantage point on the hill, on the balustrade of the fortress walls. And nothing comes out yet. Your soldiers are still a couple of hundred yards away, or the front lines at least are a couple of hundred yards away. And as they get close, you begin to hear it. It's a familiar sound. It's the sound of arrows sweeping through the air. It's the sound of arcane spells snapping into reality. It's the sound of screams and explosions as this battle has started. Oswald stands in front of the 11 of you, puts his helmet on, and then, just slightly muffled through the helmet, you just hear, "Go!" As all 11 of you, with speed unimaginable, dart through this battlefield. You are covering 100 feet every couple of seconds. Bounding through your own lines, you are dashing left and right and forward, and your only objective is to reach the castle walls and get in through the front gate of this fortress. As you sprint through, you watch as bodies fall. Arrows come down. They slam into your armor of your brothers and your sisters, but they mean nothing to you. You've been hit by arrows and spells before. The soldiers around you know they're fun at this point. They're the distraction. So the Blood Knights, one of the most ruthless groups, can infiltrate this fortress. And in seconds, you make it from the top of the hill several hundred yards through this battlefield, as all 12 of you at the same time slam up against the fortress wall. And as you hit the wall, you notice the gate isn't moving. You have 4 Blood Knights who are some of the strongest of your team trying to lift it. It is not budging. Something is stopping it from opening. Oswald curses, orders everyone to hold back. And at that moment, you hear another pounding of footsteps above you from the balustrades. And you hear more yelling, but in languages you are unfamiliar with. You've heard demonic, you've heard orcish, you've heard what? It sounds different, and you don't know what it is. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me. the wave of them coming down doesn't stop. And they begin to push forward, slamming into the front lines of your army. As this happened, Oswald curses. Shit! This isn't the plan. He goes, damn it. Back up the front lines. Go, attack them from behind. And without hesitation, you and your battle sister, who you have been with for many years, are the first ones off the wall. Swinging swords, trying to cut your way back to the front lines of this battle. I would like you to go ahead and roll 3d20 for me. Oswald, you have seen battle before. All of you have. The Blood Knights have a reputation for being immensely brutal. In as little as 10 sword swipes, you rip through 34 enemies, splitting them in half, blood soaking your blade and your arm. The smell of combat, the feeling of adrenaline is coursing as you're making your way back to the front lines of the soldiers who are getting assaulted from up on the tower and from the encroaching forces. You look left and you look right, and you see bodies of your own soldiers there, but you also see the 11 other Blood Knights carving their way through. And then you watch one fall. Hit by 2 swords, one through the front, one through the back. Then several arrows and a fireball. More than any normal person could take, but also more than this seeming elite task force can take. The words of Oswald remind you, do not worry, you will meet them in the next life. So you continue. You and your brothers continue, and sisters continue to slice through these lines before you eventually, after a minute, 2 minutes of violent carnage, make your way back to the front lines of the invading army. Oswald screams to regroup. The front lines back up a little bit. As you're still fighting off the wave of enemies that has not stopped pouring over the wall. Several more minutes of combat go by. There are thousands of bodies. Several thousand of them are your own army. Upwards of 2,000 dead soldiers are there. Upwards of 8,000 or 9,000 dead soldiers are there from dead creatures, beings from this fortress. And there's a lull finally. I would say after 5 to 10 minutes of non-stop hand-to-hand combat. You're breathing heavy. There are cries and screams, not of excitement but of desperation. You know this is almost where it's fun. This is where the challenge is. This is where the excitement is. And in that moment, you feel something you've never felt before. And there's a loud, booming voice in your head. Long is the way, and hard, that leads us through the hells and to what is rightfully ours. Push forward. It's the same voice from the illusion. It's the same hooded Dark Lord that has given you your objective for this day. You've never been spoken to within your own brain, but you take a second and you look around and see that your entire army hesitates for a second. They all experience that before this red crackling energy rips through the rest of the army. And they push forward with brutality indescribable. what magic smells like. And you know it carries a strongest scent when it's high level. And as you're 20 yards from the gate, there is a rip in the space between the approaching forces of your army and the gate that sends goose flesh over your skin and almost a chill down your spine, which is not something you've ever experienced in any sort of battle scenario. As you watch a portal open and mammoth-sized creatures begin to pour through, beasts half disintegrated, beasts that are pulled from the ground, black stalking creatures with spiked tails, multi-eyed individuals as they all pour through, weapons, swords, kopeshes, scimitars, flooding the battlefield. And this is the first moment, Oswald, that you have ever felt unsure. You've gone into battle 1,000 times and always been sure of the outcome. You're not sure now. As these front lines crash, you're not winning. More Blood Knights drop. Another 1,000 soldiers drop. Before you hear the faint scream from Oswald, from, I don't know, 60 feet away, scream the words retreat. No word that you have ever heard on the battlefield before. And the army turns. And arrows and spells still rain down, and the beasts still chase, but they're mostly dispatched. The Blood Knights do their best to regroup towards the back, deal with any of the carnage that tries to take out the remaining army. After a few minutes, you find yourself back on the hill, where the day started, calmly. And you look out on a massacre. Nearly 10,000 bodies, 3,000 of which were your own men, if not more. You can't see any of the Blood Knights. You can only see 2 or 3 that have made it back to the tree line. You do not know if anyone else has already headed in with the rest of the army. You watch as these creatures stalk the battlefield. They don't press the advance. They're examining it. They're ripping bodies apart. The creatures are eating. Before a hand rests on your shoulder, it's one of your other compatriots. She just calmly, she goes, Scout, lives to fight another day. Let's figure this one out. Before she disappears into the tree. Is there anything you'd like to do before you follow?
As I look over the remains of the battlefield and these things are stalking it and devouring whatever's left over, how many of my comrades do I see? Like, how many sets of like the Blood Knight's armor can I see out there?
Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Give me sight. Woohoo!
19 is good. You take a moment, looking and seeing that the creatures aren't pressing. You take a moment to really look. And it takes a second, because there's a lot. There's a lot of bodies, there's a lot of viscera, there's pools of blood. Nothing you haven't seen before, but there's a lot. You see about 6 armors that you can, from your vantage point, see. You lost half, if not more, of one of the most elite fighting units that have ever taken to Avernus. In one battle, to try and gain something unknown to you from a place that you couldn't even breach the wall of.
I think there is a as Oswald looks over the field and notices that there is a tightening of his grip and a slight tremble in his muscles, like as he's trying to hold back the emotions of grief despite himself, but also just anger.
Yeah. Oswald, there's a lot that you're feeling right now. You've never lost. You haven't lost since you've been training. You've grown up around a lot of these individuals. You know their names, you know their stories. You didn't talk much last night, but you've been with this group for a long time. And you used to be more. And people have come and gone, or died in battle, been recruited. Your numbers have changed, but the group is family. What you face today is nothing short of a massacre. And you, in that moment of anger, frustration, and sadness, question why you did it. It's the first time you've ever, I don't want to say questioned orders, but it's the first time that you've thought about something like this. And so you push into the treatment with these questions on your mind. And you walk for a while. One of the things you've learned is that Avernus is difficult to navigate in terms of time. Days seem to stretch on because the sun, there is no real sun. The sky gets brighter and darker, but it's not on a set schedule. And you haven't seen anyone in days. It seems that the army that was there has scattered. All of the regimented training and everything didn't seem to help very much, as without leadership, the army reverts very quickly back to fend for themselves. The Blood Knights scattered probably more out of survival. You've lived here for a long time. You know how to live off these lands. It's not fun when you're on your own, but it's far better than being in a group. Groups are targeted, individuals are not, because you're faster and stealthier and more resilient than the average person. And you walk for probably what feels like 3 or 4 days. Exhaustion begins to hit, far slower than the normal individuals. And I'd like you to go ahead and make a perception check for me. One more.
Baby.
Oswald, you wander.
We tried.
And you don't really know what directions you're heading in. And you don't really know what to do. And you have a lot of questions bouncing around your head. And you don't notice it until the blades are at your throat. The 2 large skeletons have stopped you, with large halberds blocking your path, standing up to your throat. And in that moment you realize that you have walked into a clearing that is out of place. It's not that the ground looks different, it's not that the trees look different, it's in the middle of nowhere. You've wandered in for days without any semblance of direction. And somehow you stumble across a red and black tent in the midst of this forest, guarded by 2 skeletons. And as you kind of stand there stunned, you hear, "Welcome, come in." Skeletons, bones clinking, go back to their guard positions, halberds at their side. And you lift the tent flap and you walk in. And standing before you is a large mahogany table with red velvet on top of it. There's a large map in the middle with chess pieces on it and depictions of the battlefield that you were on some days earlier. There's books and wine and scrolls, and behind the table stands a familiar hooded figure. And he goes, "Welcome, child. I'm glad you have found your way here. The other day was unfortunate, but luckily for you, we are ready for phase 2. It is time to regroup the army, rally the Blood Knights, and you will make another push for the fortress tomorrow morning.
Another push, my lord.
Yes, another push. We have not received, taken, what was taken from us. Our mission is not done here, soldier.
My lord, the army is destroyed. We are in complete rout. The day is lost. I can return us to the fortress. We may go home and build our strength again, but today, my lord, it cannot be done.
And he takes a sip from his goblet of wine and he puts it down on the table more aggressive than you would think. You were on the battlefield. You're one of my elite Blood Knights. How many did we lose?
My lord, the Blood Knights are scattered. We must regroup. We must return. We cannot attack again.
He takes a deep breath. Fine. You will regroup and take the village to the south. They will not expect a counterattack from a different angle. If we take the village, we have a stronghold. That is our foot in the door to attack the fortress another day.
My lord, we cannot.
I don't
Attacking
like
this.
being told what I can't do. So
It is foolish, my lord.
And he steps out from behind the table. Foolish. Foolish? You would dare question me, you weak little plaything. And this gaunt hand reaches out and grasps around your throat, still in armor, and lifts you off the ground. You are nothing more than a chess piece on a board. Who are you to tell me what can or cannot be done? You are bound. Spittle flying from his mouth, landing on your helmet. All of you, bound to me. I would sacrifice 10,000 of you worthless worms to seize my prize. You are mine to command, and I will do with you as I please.
I am no plaything. And his hand almost instinctually, without really thinking about it, draws the blade and plunges the blade into his heart.
As that happens, in a flash, you, Oswald, unaware of what you just did, feel your feet slowly go back to the ground as his grip lightens slightly. And he stutters. No. And his right hand begins to crackle with this dangerous, chaotic, red energy. And as his arm swings, his legs go out. And he crumples back, slamming into the table. Wine spilling, books falling, chess pieces flying to the floor. As you stand there, motionless, you don't know what just happened. In that moment, you hear clanking. Bones wandering into the tent. Shing! As the halberds come out. You don't even look away. Your sword arm moves, still covered in the blood and ichor that came out when you wrenched the sword from the chest of the Lord that sent you into battle yesterday. The pile of bones fall, halberds clanging to the ground. You feel woozy. You're not as in control as you normally are. You're questioning things more. And you look now at a tent that you shouldn't have stumbled upon, out in the middle of nowhere, in a realm that is been your battlefield for years. You, Oswald, just killed your commanding officer, openly defying everything you have been taught, thinking for yourself for the first time in a very, very long time. And you leave that tent. And in that daze, you wander through the forests of this place. And as you wander, your brain is overloaded with questions. Why did we attack? What were we trying to take? What have I done? What of my brothers and sisters? Will I see them in the next realm? We've lost 3,000 people. Everyone just scattered. What do I do now? And wandering through, you find something else wildly out of place. You find grass, like green grass. The smell of petrichor hits your nose. Soft, wet earth. And you step on it, and your feet sink into the dirt a little bit. You've been walking on dust and dry rot ground for years. You've never felt dirt underneath your feet. And in front of you is a rip, not unlike what you saw on the battlefield, but it does not emit the same chaos of what the battlefield had. There's almost peace coming from this. There's a sense of calm coming from it. And in that moment, you question everything. What do you do?
I look down at my hands.
Covered in ichor and blood.
Yep. And they like slightly shaking now as a lot of the adrenaline has worn off. And I look back up and I step through the portal.
Cool air hits your face. The smell of pine trees, wood, and wet ground, and cool air hit every sense you have. The taste of sulfur is out of your mouth. You're not in Avernus anymore. You're in the middle of a forest. And it's strange. There's a calm here that you've never experienced. There is no feeling of a coming fight. There is no expectation of violence. The portal behind you is not there. It doesn't seem like it was ever there. You stepped out of... There's a tree there. You wouldn't have been able to go through. And it's in that moment where several days of exhaustion all hit you at once. And you fall to the ground, on your back, bloody sword and armor, looking up at a beautiful, calm night sky. Stars dot every point in your vision. You see both of the moons of this world echoing each other. Calm hits you. And you pass out from exhaustion.
still just a disadvantage when you're being... Give me good stuff. Good try.
Oswald, you pick a direction. You don't know which way is north, south, east, or west. You just pick a direction and begin walking. And as you're walking, the place you are is strange. There's a weird energy about it. There's a weird magical energy about it. It doesn't have the same smell of the arcane that you're used to from Vernus. There's something mystical about it. There's something otherworldly even to your senses. While all of this is new, this seems odd for a place that is new to you. And as you're making your way through, there's so much to take in. The world around you, the forest, the sounds, the calm, the serenity of it is strange. So you're not as careful as you thought. You move through, and you get frightened randomly. A strange deer jumps out, snarling at you with twin tails. This looks like some weird conglomeration of 2 or 3 different creatures. Go ahead and roll an intimidation check for me. I'll give you advantage for this, so roll it one more time. Because you are covered in blood, reek, and have a sword.
Come on. Work with me. Nice.
Okay, double 11. This creature looks at you for a second longer than it expects to, snarling at you. Before you take a step forward. And in doing so, it hesitates. Darts back into the underbrush. You continue moving, and several days go by. You sleep at night, part of you almost enjoying the serenity of it. And on your 3rd day of travel, you climb a very tall hill and realize that looking around, because there's a clearing at the top of it, you are in some gargantuanly large crater. But now you're at the top of it, and it took a lot of energy to climb out, but you have a better look of your surroundings. You're a little bit higher up in altitude. And not far off, I'd say about a half day's walk or so, you see some sort of water on the horizon, maybe a little bit further than a half a day. So you set out that way, in the hopes of finding something. You're smart enough, you know that water usually means that people are there. And so you wander. You find some roads, but they seem to go in opposite directions. They don't seem to be going directly to the water, and there's something that's calling you to that. And so after about a day and a half, it was farther than you thought, you reach the water. And you're looking out on a massive lake. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
To me. I'm blind.
Okay. There's not a lot out on the lake. You see something far off on the surface of the water, but you can't really make it out. You can probably assume it's a boat, but you don't know if there's people on it or if it's just a rock. It's a little bit hard to tell from this distance. But this is also the first time you've been near water. Like, a lot of water. Is there anything you would like to do?
What time of day is it right now? Is it like daytime?
It's morning. It's not quite dawn. Maybe like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning.
I am going to go to the water's edge and begin to remove my armor and my equipment. And I would like to take some time to clean, wash myself, particularly, most importantly to Oswald, to tend to his his weapons, and sit and contemplate for, a few moments.
You find a larger rocky outcropping on the coastal part of the water. And you take your armor off, slowly, almost ritualistically. You've done this so many times. Gently you dip your sword into the lake, cleaning off the blood and ichor. You do the same with your shield and your helmet and your cuirass and your plate legs. Not returning it to the shine that it had in Avernus, but clean. For the first time in a long time. There's no dust, there's nothing like that. You search through your pack and you find the last of your sharpening stones. And you watch the sunset on the lake. Not in your armor, close by, but not in your armor. Sharpening your sword as you kind of go over a lot of the questions you still had. And there's a little bit of peace to it. There's a little bit of peace to being back in the ritual that you're used to and being able to be clean. It's a small part of you that very much enjoys that. Is there anything you want to do that night? Or are you good?
I would like to, I have a bedroll, is that correct? As
Yes,
part
you
of
still
the,
have your pack.
as
You
part of my
brought it with
pack.
you. It's stained a little bit. There's some blood got on it. It smells a little irony, but you've slept in worse.
I think, and this is up to you, Chris. Would I have access to, sort of as a paladin, would I have access to some kind of, let's say like writing utensil and or like some kind of writing journal?
You would have a journal and a inkwell in your traveling pack. That's pretty common. It wouldn't be uncommon for a soldier of your experience to have your own tales of what's happening, your own diary of sorts.
So as I rest on my bedroll and I remove my journal and I begin to write, it's hard to write. Oswald keeps trying to put the exact events of what has occurred since the beginning of the battle, but he's finding it difficult to do so. It's almost as if his body and his mind are disconnected, and he physically cannot write down the thing that he did.
You struggle with
And
it
then-
for a while, and it makes it a little bit difficult to sleep. It's not like the sleep the way that you passed out when you first arrived in this place, but you remember it vividly. But you don't have the lexicon to write it down. You don't have the vocabulary to describe how you're feeling. And so you don't sleep that great that night. You get up the following morning and you don your armor, relatively freshly clean, blade sharpened, shield somewhat shiny once more. You pack your bedroll up, and you continue. You mentally flip a coin, going left or right, and decide to go left around the lake.
Left, always left.
Always left. And so you make your way around the lake, and it takes the better part of the day. And as the sun begins to set, you find a signpost on the road at a four-way fork. And there is, at the very bottom, pointing to the left, it says Agarine. And something like several hundred kilometers away. It has Dornwick,
shit.
somewhat closer. Maybe 200 kilometers away. It has a sign from the way that you just came that says Dalasong. and it's maybe 1,000 kilometers away. And then there's a sign that's pointing north, or what you believe is now north, having a little bit better of a direction, to the town of Phandalin, which is just under 20 kilometers away. And you head towards Phandalin. Then you make your way and you follow the road for the first time in a while. You see some horseback travelers, some mail carriers, some soldiers or scouts heading out in certain ways. No one really seems to pay you much mind other than the longed glance at the armor, but nothing crazy. And let me... Did someone die?
Who died?
It was Jordan.
You realize that you won't make it to Phandalin by nightfall. And so you get relatively close to the town and decide to set up camp just inside the tree line. You realize that you're hungry for the first time in a very long time. And so you stay up a little bit later. And you snuff your campfire out for the time being. Hide almost motionless in the brush. Before a unnaturally swift strike that you make fells a deer that is running past. Unaware that you were there, one swift strike drops it dead in front of you. What do you do?
How far away from the town would you say that I am now?
I'd say you probably have about 5 kilometers left to the town. The walk around the lake tired you more than you expected. And so you're still a little ways out, but you're also pretty deep in the forest. You feel safe there?
I would... I'm gonna pick the deer. I'm gonna take the deer with me back to... How far away from the road would you say that the campfire is set up? Like, still visible from the road, or not visible at all?
I would say you would give yourself ample cover to kind of not bring attention to yourself.
As long as you're cool with it, I'm gonna change that. Like once I get the deer, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna go get my stuff, and then I'm gonna set up camp a little bit closer to the road, to the point where if somebody was on the road, they could probably see the fire that I have going.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the deer. I'm gonna start to, undress it and take strips of meat off and start to cook them. And I let the firelight and the smell of cooked meat waft in the air.
Okay. Is your intent to have someone stop? Is your intent to draw the creatures near?
I would like to see if somebody from the road stops at my camp for the night.
It takes a while. Night starts to settle in, and you do hear the clopping of hooves coming closer. It smells heavenly. What you got cooking, friend?
Fine hunks of meat, traveler. Please, take a seat.
I'll never say no to a free meal. Hops off his horse, ties it onto a little post or a tree nearby, comes and sits down. My name's Randall, and I appreciate you sharing a meal with me. It's not often you find such friendly folks on the road. I had to make a quick exit from Vandalin after a unfortunate gambling thing in the pub. But Oh, yeah. Stories to tell the grandkids. And who are you,
indeed so.
friend?
Sir Oswald, a pleasure
Oh.
to meet you.
Sir Oswald. Well, this is my pleasure. Where are you coming from?
From here and there, friend.
Ah,
I am
traveling adventurer. That's lovely. Where are you going? Are you going to Phandalin?
I am indeed going to Phandalin.
Wonderful, wonderful. Don't mention me, if you don't mind. That would be
Of
wonderful.
course. Of course.
Wonderful. And he may I? And he just grabs a piece of like meat that's cooking on the fire. Oh,
Of course.
this is salted. Where did you get this? This is wonderful. He's enjoying his meal.
As he's enjoying his meal, maybe, 5-10 minutes or so of, just kind of sitting there, I'd like to look up from eating and say, friend, would you mind just grabbing a couple more sticks for the fire, just so we have a little bit more?
Oh, be my absolute pleasure. He gets up and he walks over. Go ahead.
As he gets up and turns his back to me, I am going to strike him
Okay, how would you like to do this?
with my sword,
Okay, just clean through the back.
clean through the back.
Yes, of course, my head just... And he just looks down as this giant sword is just slammed through his chest. He just goes, why? As he just slumps to the ground.
I am ever so hungry, traveler. Sorry. No hard feelings. I pick his body up, and I consume him.
Like,
Blood.
drink his blood or eat him entirely?
Yes. I'm going to drink his. Let's not get too great. I will drink his blood.
Okay. So, you've had your helmet off, and you seem relatively normal. But as you turn back to the firelight, with this corpse slumped against your body, bleeding, there's a grin that covers your face, fangs that pop out. And you sink your teeth into his neck as the night fades out. You get up the next morning, having disposed of what was left of the husk of this body, and cleaning up after yourself, putting the fire out, unbridling the horse, smacking it on the rump, and sending it off into the woods. You feel replenished, and you begin to head towards Phandalin. Does not take you long, a couple of hours of walking. And you come to a relatively bustling town. And sorry, I just need to find my place on my notes. As you begin your walk into town, you do a couple of loops around town. You're just trying to get a lay of the land. You get the odd stares as people see this giant black armor-clad paladin walking through, but everyone seems to recognize not to mess with you very much. And after a couple of loops around, you do finally find yourself at the front doors of the tavern. And let me just find... there's a giant sign on the outside that just reads the Stone Hill Inn. So you push the swaying doors in, and you take a glance around. It's about noon. People aren't really there for lunch yet. It's quiet. You make your way over and sit at one of the tables further away from the door, more in the shadowed section up against the wall, just trying to keep a lower profile.
when this timid little elf girl wanders over, somewhat hesitantly. So, Shiny, you want anything? Or are you just here to look brooding?
That is my special.
Well,
A cup of wine, dear child.
a cup of wine. Okay, you got money to pay for this wine?
Do it.
You do not have any money.
Shit. What if we had it on credit?
She kind of walks away. Another bum! Who doesn't bring money to a tavern? A couple of minutes goes by. And this timid little elf girl, who is now no longer afraid of you whatsoever, drops a bowl of stew and a mug of ale in front of you. The meal's on the house, but you're helping me when you're done, okay? So don't go anywhere.
Indeed.
You nod. She walks away. The bartender's giving you the eye, making sure you don't go anywhere. You eat your meal and you finish. Stand up, take your plate and mug over to the bar, thank the barkeep. Follow me, middleman. We're going to the storehouse. Let's go. She leads you out the back of the tavern. Listen, if you handle this, then we're square. But you're not allowed back in the Stonehill Inn without money. Okay? Monty said so, the bartender. He's the owner. Okay?
I understand.
Alright, so we have a rat problem in the storehouse. And it's been going on for a few weeks now. These things keep chewing into the bags of corn and the wheat. And it's even tried gnawing into a barrel of mead just a couple days ago. I don't know what's getting into them, but it's your job to deal with it, okay? And so you guys wander through town a little bit, and it's a couple blocks away. You guys are walking for a couple of minutes. You come up to a large storehouse. It's multi-floors, no windows. It says Stonehill Inn Warehouse on the outside and a small sign next to the door. The little girl is digging through her pocket. She goes, I'm Mylan, by the way. You know, mailman, in case you were going to ask. And she pulls out a key, puts the key in the lock, and pushes the door open. Have fun in there. And she gets very serious. Don't get any ideas about filling your own provisions. I take stock every day. I know what we have. Come back to the inn once you're done. Anything's missing, I kick your ass. And then she's like,
I am a man of my word.
She's ushering you in. Go, go, rat boy, go kill it. And so you go in, and she closes the door behind you. You hear a lock. Go ahead and roll an investigation or perception check for me, whichever you would prefer.
Let me get the perception. Smash. Ba-boom.
Okay, 17. You take a moment to look around. There's a lot of shelves kind of hanging around with a lot of different provisions everywhere. Sacks of flour, raw wheat. There is barrels and barrels of meat. There are baskets of fresh vegetables. There are jarred various things all around. This is a well-stocked storeroom for everything. And with a 17, you also notice some, like, footprints, some rat-like footprints, but it's not a normal rat. You're used to rats having 4 legs. You've fought a couple of, like, dire rats before. They're much bigger than normal rats, but these have 8 legs. Little rat paws. All in, like, weird stepping patterns. And it's in that moment when you go, spiders have 8 legs. And then you look up.
And there are very large spider webs up in the corners of this room. Hanging from them are 3, I would say, medium dog-sized spider rats. Bodies and heads of spiders with bodies and heads of rats with spider legs. And their jagged teeth come out and they hiss this visceral before they fall. Now, hold on for a second.
Let's dance, motherfuckers.
It's not going to be a traditional initiative roll, so you're going to be hit first, and then you will have 2 attacks. Okay? It'll be relatively quick. We're not going to do anything crazy here. You will take 5 points of damage from the first 2 that strike at you. And then you can go ahead and roll 2d20. 1 for each of your first swipes. And these things come down, and their teeth slam into your armor. And they're sharper in point here than you were expecting. They pierce the armor a little bit, or they get right in between the cracks of the plate armor. And you feel the sting of their bite, and they're not fun.
Take a 6 and 8.
Okay. So you swing.
Get thrown
You
off.
swing twice. You were thrown off by the first attack. It wasn't what you were expecting. And as this happens, the adrenaline kind of starts to hit again. That feeling of fight happens. And so you take a swipe at one of the smaller ones that comes down last. It seems to have hesitated and lagged behind a little bit. 2 swipes cleanly sever it in half. Some of the legs coming off on this first one and the torso splitting in half on the second one. They then go back and they attack. This is more vicious than you were expecting. Go ahead and roll 2 more d20. As their teeth come in and their legs are chattering around on the wooden floor, and you're trying to get your bearings. It's a darker area, but you're much more confident now. And in 2 sweeps, your first one, you're angry at this point. No one can kill me. That, like, egotistical voice in your head echoes. As you slice through the larger one, clean in half, blood splattering on your sword, the floor, and the walls. And in the momentum of that first one, as your sword cuts through, you release your grip on the sword and let it spin, grabbing it in a reverse hold before, as you're still turning, slamming it, and pinning the last one against the wall. Then it calms down. And then you open your pack, you pull your sword out of the wall as the body of this spider rat slams to the ground. And you light up the torches on the interior so you can kind of see what you're getting at. These are big creatures, and they have been growing from their time in this storeroom. Seemingly a plethora of food allows them to grow larger. And so you finish it, and you go over, and even though you thought you heard the door lock, it is open. Is there anything you would like to do before leaving?
Are all the creatures dead?
All 3 of the creatures that you saw are dead. You do not see anything else in there.
I would like to, before I walk out of the storeroom, I'd like to make I would like to see if I can like see anything else, or like any more creatures in there.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me.
Get it.
13. So you take your time. There's no real rush at this point. Your fight is over. You take a torch off the wall that you sparked up, and you see that there are very large spider webs in the corners. You lift your torch high enough to actually ignite one of them that just kind of has the fire ripple across it, almost like you lit steel wool on fire as it kind of disintegrates that web. There doesn't seem to be anything else. This seems to have been whatever the threat is. You do, with the light in your hands now, see a lot more of the carnage that they run. There's a lot of destroyed crates and debris around. There is like water stains on the floorboards near where the casks are. It seems like they did get into two of the meat barrels. A lot of the bread and wheat sacks have been ripped and torn open, and that's kind of spilled out onto the floor. But it's quiet. You don't see any other creatures inside.
Okay. Is there anything that I could, well, no. I will exit the storehouse and return to the tavern.
You snuff the torch and put it back on the wall. You leave the bodies of the spider rats there. You open the door and close it. And it does lock behind you. You make your way back to the tavern. And entering in through the back door, Mylan is standing at the bar and goes, "Oh, Metal Man, you back? You done already? Or did you chicken out?"
No, the deed is done, child.
What was it?
Rats.
I told you, Monty, it was rats. He goes, "I don't know what you're talking about. I saw a spider." He goes, "Don't listen to Monty. He's an idiot." And as they're kind of bickering, an older dwarvish gentleman kind of comes in. He goes, "Will you two please shut up?" "Sir, my name is Toblin. I own this bar and the tavern and the inn and the rooms upstairs. Mylan has told me of the deed you helped us with, and it is greatly appreciated. We have covered the cost of your meal. She has told me about that. I believe she also threatened you. You're welcome here as long as you have money. Please don't take anything she says too seriously. If there's anything else you need, please let us know. But otherwise, we are greatly appreciative of your assistance today and hope that you enjoyed the meal."
Indeed I did. Many thanks to you for your patronage. I do have something to ask.
"Yes. How can I help?"
Where can I get money?
"Where can you get money?" "Well, over by the front door over there is a notice board. I don't think anyone's put anything up in a couple of days, so I don't think there's any odd jobs around. You can also check the one by the northern exit to town. There is one by the gate over there. Other than that, you may have to head to one of the larger towns. There is usually mercenary work there. That would probably be my recommendation. Corbel Door is north of here. That's probably the closest. If you like the coast and Black Crystal, you can head all the way down south to Agarine. I'd stay away from Empyrean Fields. They're so fucking snotty over there. And a star you can't stay the night in, so 6 of 1. I would say Corbel Door is probably your best bet at the moment.
Well, thank you.
Oh, of course. Like I said, if you need anything else, let me know. Mylan, fucking get your hands out of the peanut jar and go and clean the washrooms, please. She goes, "Fine," and then runs off. You nod, and I'd like you to go ahead and roll a perception check for me as you are walking out of the bar.
Wham.
With an 11, you take a look through the notice board that's at the front entrance of the bar.
There is not much. Someone has lost a cat. They are offering a couple of silver for it. There is alchemical test subject written there. There is an advertisement for a coming construct show of display in town in a couple of weeks. Advertising the new V9 model of their construct. It says S&F Productions at the bottom. And next to it there is a flyer that is the Cinder Shard Festival for Cor Baldur, celebrating the 849th birthday of the city, inviting everyone to come and enjoy a day of festivities and trade and general livelihood. You rip that off of the notice board and pocket it. And yeah, is there anything else you would like to do before you set out?
No, I'm gonna pocket the flyer and then set on my way.
So you push your way through the doors, and then begin walking. You see a sign in town that points you in the direction of Cor Baldur, and then you slowly exit the city, following the main road, and make your way towards the city of Cor Baldur. That will be the end of your session 0, Jake. Well done.
Yo! That shit was
Let's
fire.
go. Yeah, that was epic.
Yeah.